A little trouble finding the bio for today's speaker. Oh yes, it's me. So my name is Richard Koral, and I'm the leader here at the Ethical Human Society. Did that mean drink up or bring this up? I've been here for about 4 years now. That could be it. And we've labeled today Bring a Friend Day, and hopefully we've brought some friends here, and I see some new faces, and I welcome everybody who is new or is renewed. Some of you have been here before and haven't been here for a while, so it's really a joy to have you here and to share in this opening day. So we hope to do that from time to time all year to encourage friends to come. And we're delighted to share our Sunday with friends and to share the friendships of our friend. So preparing for this morning, I was thinking about friendship. Friendship as a value, friendship as an aspiration, as a process, as a gift. Friendship is all that, and it's also a building block of all society. We have connections, ties, intersecting and overlapping ties with people. That's all sometimes referred to as a social fabric, the interconnections that weave us together into a community. So I'm delighted this morning on our opening day of the season again to see the friends that I've made over the course of these 4 years that I've been here. Now, the society is an intentional community. That is to say, a community of folks come together for the purpose of cultivating friendship and for sharing a mission to make this world a better place, a more peaceable, rational, a more just place in which we all can live. As our motto says, to make a caring world. The society has been on this mission, as I said, for 70 years. Research says that loneliness is an endemic problem in our society. Approximately 22% of adults report loneliness. And loneliness has been correlated with all kinds of health problems. Loneliness is more present than diabetes, more present than smoking. It's an endemic health issue. So dealing with loneliness is something that we have to take purposefully, we have to deal with. They say there are those people who think about this and who research it have described 3 kinds of loneliness. A loneliness of intimacy, of intimate relations, a loneliness of camaraderie-like relations, close friends, people with whom you really can easily sit down and shoot the breeze with, and also a collective loneliness. That is to say, membership in some sort of society, community, like-minded people, something that you can identify with. Well, can friendship be made on purpose? Can you go out intentionally to make friends and to make community? Or does it need to be organic, mysterious, magnetic, and emotional, kind of automatic? I think that friendship and communities can be built by design and on purpose, and they can be enriching and meaningful without saying that the other kind, the mysterious, magnetic, and emotional kind, can't happen too. They just don't all need to be. So when it's said that people should love one another, that's saying we can do it intentionally, purposefully, meaningfully. We can establish friendships. Abraham Lincoln once said, "Don't we also destroy our enemies when we make them our friends?" So we should be able to establish friendships even in trying, challenging circumstances. Being a friend is an intentional act. We bring something to it. We invest in friendship. Can I really be a friend with just anyone? Well, some people make it easier than others to be their friends. Some friendships are higher maintenance than others. Some people, little is asked of us, and from other people, a lot more. But it is in friendship, in all the various forms it takes, that people find meaning, sustenance, and support. Lives are built on friendship. In ethical culture, there are certain tenets that we hold, and one of them is that we respect the inherent worth of each person. The founder of ethical culture, Felix Adler, said over a century ago that this is our faith and our conviction, that we attribute worth in every human being. This is our duty and our task. You might ask, well, what about those people who really are bad news? People who do damage, harm others. Some people commit heinous acts. Surely not everyone has worth. Shouldn't people have to attain a kind of a stature of worth first by proving themselves by some act of generosity, some kind of good works? Bill Gates set up a foundation with billions of dollars, so surely he has worth. A person like, say, Clara Barton, who started the American Red Cross, served millions of people, she must have had worth. The Dalai Lama, worthy to humanity, worth to the world. Well, what about every person? Every person strives to bring up creditable children. They have worth. Teachers, scientists, doctors, carpenters, plumbers, they all contribute to society. They have worth. But we're saying that everyone has worth. And Felix Adler said that one doesn't have to earn worth. Each one has worth inherently, and it's our duty to attribute worth to every living being, irrespective of the challenge we're confronted with in doing that. We each have our capacities. We each have the capacity to learn, to grow, and to find one's own worth. He said that we should have confidence in the capacity of every person to grow and find a kind of transcendence. We attribute worth, even if it's hard to see. So it takes effort to be a friend. You have to let the other person know that it is safe to be your friend. In order to do that, you have to give of yourself, to be authentic. There can't be friendships without authenticity, to show the other person that you are offering your true self. And it's scary to take the mask off. You have to summon the courage to open up. We all grow up building an exterior persona that can show what you need to show in order to be respected, to be taken seriously, in order to be safe. When I was in college, I lived on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. And back then, the city streets were actually more dangerous than they are now. It was a tough time. And city people perfected a method of walking in the streets of New York with a perceptible bubble surrounding them. I don't know if anyone remembers this, but people practiced their street face. It said, I may look like I'm here, but I'm not really here. I am impervious. It was an important defense strategy, exuding a force field to shield oneself. But for friendship, you have to be here. You have to be present. For friendship to grow, there must be the building blocks of appreciation, mutuality, care, loyalty, and of course, faith. Faith that the trust you place in the friendship will not be abused, that your secrets will be respected, and that the trust will be reciprocated. In the English language, our vocabulary for relationships is woefully impoverished. We have the word love, which we use for stronger feelings, and like for lesser feelings. all mixed up. Like can mean anything from cordiality to bubblegum. There's no distinction. In ancient Greece, of course, they had a much richer vocabulary for relationships, and we can speculate whether our lack of words has limited our imagination or understanding of relationships. Without realizing it, linguists say that new words introduce concepts that we may never have known before. By naming something, it exists. The lack of a word can mean the absence of a concept, that limited words limit the imagination. So quickly, in ancient Greek, the word eros, of course, means passionate or romantic love. There was a separate word for the kind of love between family members, a parent to a child, for example, and that was storge. Agape was the word for an empathic, universal love, say a love of mankind, an altruistic love for humanity. While philia would refer to love between good friends. Philia directly translates to affectionate regard, and it's often based upon Aristotle's concept of personal goodwill. So that would be the friends, the good friends. But there's more. Of course, in real life, there's more, so it's good to have a vocabulary that would recognize that. Ludus would refer to a playfully affectionate relationship, an uncommitted but enjoyable relationship. Pragma was referred to a committed, lasting friendship, like a partnership, a long-term attachment with mutual respect, mutual reliance, mutual trust. And then there's philotia, which means self-love. Not in the sense of narcissism, but in the sense of self-care, attention to one's needs, a healthy respect for one's own needs. So these are 7 recognized values of attachment, affection, and friendship acknowledged in the ancient Greek language, better equipping them to appreciate and discuss the ways we relate to one another. But actually, we have even more gradations of a relationship that in the course of an ordinary life. We have colleagues in our professions. We have in-laws on holidays. We have the barista at the Starbucks who we see each morning and knows just how you like your mocha java. There are people with whom we interact in a myriad different levels of intensity and attention. And we try to calibrate the personal disclosures to these people while maintaining a relationship with just the right degree of mutuality. These are transactional relationships where just so much is expected and so much is required. But they're relationships too. So how is one to approach a new acquaintance and manage the interaction? Our goal is to maximize trust and to avoid misunderstandings. Every new association is an asset that weaves the fabric of one's own community. Clearly, these are skills we've been learning since we were first born. Those earliest interactions between an infant and the first caregiver start us off in assessing whether we can rely on another person, or if we cannot. As we grow older and gain confidence, we can look upon others and accept them, not necessarily based on our needs, but rather based on our strengths and our capacity to give. We could try to look upon others less with judgment and more with an open curiosity and ask, what is this person's gift? What can I learn from him or her? And I've often been surprised by the rich histories of the many people I've met in ethical culture. People don't wear their stories on their sleeves. And so one has to inquire. It takes patience to allow people to reveal their stories, for people to unfold before you as complex and storied personalities. Can you be a temporary situational friend? I found that working on a common project or activity enabled me to build a bond with another person that lasted just till sundown. and those relationships are enriching too. Author David Sachs recently wrote about the value of strangers, or should we say pre-friends, people you've just met. Being in a new situation and meeting strangers opens up all new vistas of mutuality, experience, and a satisfaction of bonding with another person, even for a short time. There is just so much to share and so much to learn. He lamented the technology that separates us, the AirPods that seal people off, the smartphones we hunch over, the delivery apps that keep us out of the stores and restaurants. Of course, the pandemic introduced us to a broad notions of stranger danger when safety meant isolation. Well, he wrote, strangers are actually one of the richest and most important resources we have. They connect us to the community, teach us empathy, build civility, and are full of surprise and potential wonder. If there's some time afterwards, maybe we could share some stories of interesting and unexpected friendships that you had, like stories of strange pairings, apparent opposites, unexpected discoveries among the strangers you met. I'll tell you a quick story for me. When I was in my leadership training, I took a program in interfaith pastoral counseling, and there were people from other traditions there. Now, I'd never never had any kind of a close bond with anyone in the clergy ever before, so I was a little wondering how I would be accepted. And one of the students in the class was a nun, a traditional nun, full habit nun. And we had an early exercise together, so I got to talk with her right away. And over the course of the program, we actually became friends. I went to visit her at her convent, and just this year, she was, after the program, she was sent to headquarters, the Vatican, and she was working in the Vatican for the last 6 years. So she comes back, and who does she write to? She writes to me. Hey, I'm back. Can we see each other? So yeah, last week, I took her out to lunch. And it was really wonderful on a number of levels. What I mean for today is that there was such a difference of starting points for each of us, but there is so much commonality just in individual personal regard. So I took her out to lunch to a diner in White Plains, a nice place. And so she's out in the public. She says, you know, it's so rare for a nun to be out like this. But she's brave, and she really enjoyed it, being out in the world. But she could do it with me. And so, boy, what kind of an enriching experience has that meant for me in broadening my horizons by being open to a person despite all of the images I've had. I don't know, if I was a kid, she might terrify me. I don't know, maybe she does rap kids on the knuckles, I don't know. But, but she's always been really nice to me. So here in the Ethical Society, what we do is through our meetings, through our projects, and our ethical commitment, it's to bring us out to meet others, including each other, to build friendships, create community, not only here in the society, but in Long Island generally. This coming year, we'll have lots of opportunities to work together, to encounter new people, to create, as we say, a caring world. There are important issues to weigh in on, long-held rights that are at risk now, and it takes courage and curiosity to get up, get out, and meet others, but we need each other. We need to knit together the world for people of good faith. We have discussion groups, book clubs, colloquy, meditation, and a poetry circle. These are lively encounters that enable us to see each other better, to learn from one another, and to explore the world together. There'll be food drives, welcome packets to fill, letters to write. It's here where we can collectively magnify our individual voices by joining in with others and, as friends, move the world.